I've been able to speak to a ton of multi-million dollar MSPs, and there is one key thing that they all have in common, regardless of them having successful MSPs, and that is how to be a great leader. And I took some notes as I would go to these calls, and I've compiled them into a list that I'd love to give you in this video on what to do and some tips and tricks to help you get there to actually be successful. Now, if you're thinking, Harrison, this is all voodoo, this is nonsense, trust me, there is a common denominator amongst the most successful MSPs, whether or not they actually want to talk about it or not. And I'm going to give it to you right now. My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even some business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to mention just one really quick thing. If you haven't checked out the website yet, I would highly recommend going and checking out our website, growth-generators.com. And in that website, you will see a ton of information from our programs to about us, our services, resources, and so many more areas. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because inside the resources area, there's tons of free tools to get, the blog, the Discord link where we're doing giveaways, just like we did our giveaway for the Plod right here, which will be announced literally right after I make this video, YouTube, and so much more. So I would highly recommend just going there, checking it out, and being familiar with the site because I'm posting my most up-to-date resources on there. So let's dive into it because there is a common denominator. I'm going to list all of these down in the video description as well. So that way you don't have to go back, and I don't want you to take notes while you're driving, God forbid, or anything like that. First and foremost, and I have truly tried to embody this, and even my time in MSPs, surrounded by MSPs, even the MSPs that are breaking into the 7+ figure mark, there is one most important trait, and I'm not even going to make you wait till the end of the video, and it's visionary thinking. This sets the direction for growth and keeps your team aligned with long-term goals. Truthfully, getting people to do things is not easy. Obviously, financial incentives, their paycheck, aka, does matter. But there are times when things happen. We just went through a huge pandemic. Guess who grew? MSPs. Guess who had employees sticking around? MSPs. When there are times of uncertainty, it's important to have your team on board. But your team doesn't want to sit around and look at your business or look at a business and say, I wonder where we're going. They really want to have something. They want to have something to sink their teeth into. And that is really, really important because they want to feel like they're a part of somebody's vision, a growing business, and the dream that the business owner, the CEO has for them. So how do you actually do this? Well, one, being a visionary is not exactly the easiest thing. You have to think really big and you have to be confident because there are going to be people out there that tell you you're crazy, that you're doing the wrong thing. There's a lot of negative banter out there that can really, really get to you. But what I do want to tell you is some tips to help get over this hurdle, and along with all of these as well. One is writing a mission statement. And this took us a while to do ourselves, but we just wrote it, right? Who are we, right? In here, who are we? Our goal, about me, right? Our core values, care deeply about client success, a rising tide lifts all ships, adapt quickly to change because things are constantly changing in this industry, and build a fun and engaging community, right? That is truly what our goal is. Most importantly, even though it's number 2, is a rising tide lifts all ships. And we truly believe that. As we get to go through this process and I get to teach you guys and give you information, I get to help all of you. And that in turn helps me, right? Just like your MSP is going to grow when you get clients, it's the exact same way. Number 2 is listen to industry news. As crazy as it sounds, there are tons of news outlets out there that you can go through and learn for your MSP and see what the possibilities truly are. It's a fact. There are tons of success stories in this industry, and as far as I'm concerned, there is no way that they're slowing down at all. And to reach these goals, plan accordingly and quarterly, right? We've got a plan to have this success actually hit. Writing our goals, as I talked about in a previous video, is really, really important. Strategic planning. What am I going to do in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? Just this morning that I'm making this video, or the day I'm making this video on, I met with my entire team and said, "Hey, we have to sit down and figure out what does the future actually look like? What are the plans? What are we doing? How are we doing it? Who needs what? Where who needs attention? Who needs special care? Whatever it is to make sure that we can get the mission is to a rising tide lifts all ships. We want to help the Discord, we want to help our members in MSP Heroes. We want to help you the audience watching on YouTube. It's really important. Number 2 and serious number 2 this time is they are good at making decisions. Now, I have spent a long time in the fire service and I'm excited to be finally back into the volunteer fire service again. But it's important. And one of the first things that they teach you is it doesn't matter what decision you make, but you have to make a decision, good or bad. MSPs are facing constant decisions, whether that's pricing, hiring, tools, service changes. And while poor decisions can cost money, the worst thing in the world is to not make any decision. That's the worst thing. The last thing, especially in the fire service world, would be I don't want somebody coming up to me and saying, "What do I do?" I don't know, figure it out. No, if I'm the one making decisions and I have to be in that role, I have to be able to dish those out immediately, good or bad. Maybe it wasn't the best decision, but having them stand there doing nothing is the worst case scenario. In many cases, that's the same thing with business. Even a bad decision is usually better than no decision at all. Usually, keyword. Some quick little tips to help you is use data. Profit margins, ticket response times, monthly recurring revenue growth, your CRM, in this case, I love Go High Level. I will leave a link down below, but that can give you information to make better decisions. Sometimes your accounting software, Xero or QuickBooks, can help you show and see, hey, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Where are we spending money that we shouldn't be? Get feedback. Getting feedback on your decisions, not just from your customers. Yes, that's super important, but why not get it from the people that work for you, the team? It's super important. Rely on them. They're the ones doing the legwork. And if they could give you feedback, why wouldn't you want to take it? But you have to make some kind of decision, right? Use the 70% rule. If you're 70% sure it's the right move, act and adjust later. Truthfully, I can't stand no progress. The worst thing in the world is no progress. Either scrap the project or we have to keep moving forward, and it's really important. Number 3, and oh, I stink at this, and I'm perfectly fine airing out my own dirty laundry. But every good and highly successful business owner, especially in the MSP world, has incredible communication skills. And if you're like, nails on a chalkboard, I know, I know, it's tough. Being a good communicator is probably one of the hardest things in the world, right? But being good at communication with your team and with your clients and vendors keeps everyone aligned. And it also reduces misunderstandings, miscommunications. And believe it or not, being a good communicator, sometimes even over communicating, does help build trust. And you have to be careful with how much information you give. But once again, being a good communicator is important. So, some quick little tips. If you guys have ever jumped on a Zoom call with me, I can guarantee you there will always be a note taker in there because I want to make sure that I covered the notes and I can send them out in case we have to refer back to them. But team huddles, golden. Even if it's 15-minute meetings once or twice, heck, even if you want to do a daily stand up, as crazy as that sounds, it's not a bad thing to get everyone together for 15 minutes to get everybody on the same path, right? Transparent emails, sending out emails to staff, clients, what's going on, big wins, any changes, updates, all of that. Also, active listening, which is probably the hardest thing for me to show in a YouTube video. But look, eye contact, nodding your head is important. Avoid crossing your arms because it shows that you're closed off. You want to make sure that you're showing the other people that you're understanding their points that they're actually talking about. And if you really want to take it one step further, there is a program that you can join. It's called Toastmasters, and this is great for communication. I just pulled it up here really quickly on my computer, but Toastmasters is great. I've been a part of Toastmasters for a short period of time, and I enjoyed it. You get to mentor others, you get to present well to other people, and you do get kind of tips and tricks on advancing your career. Even if you're not somebody that's like, I need to advance my career or my MSP is my final stop, that's fine. But truly, I've used whoops, that's not the right button. I've used Toastmasters, and it is so freaking good. Just the people there. It's no judgment. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you publicly speak, and they're going to tell you and critique you where you went right, where you went wrong, where it was too short, where it was too much, and they're going to help you be a better speaker and a better communicator. And truthfully, I think they do have a membership. It is pennies on the dollar to join, and it is amazing as far as I know, and from what I've gotten out of it, well worth the money. Next is delegation and time management. Oh, I feel like a lot of these are aimed at me. Delegating and being good with your time is super challenging. But we have something that most other industries don't have. We have actually two programs that allow us to do this. One, we have a PSA/RMM tool, depending on what you're using, right? Where we can document and delegate different times and time management. That's number one. And number two is we are masters at documentation, whether that's standard operating procedures or workflows. And we love automating things to take that workload off of us, and that helps avoid burnout and keeping workflows efficient. It is important to be good at delegation, and trust me, you're not going to wake up tomorrow after watching this video and say, I'm amazing at all of these. I wish that was the case, but it's the slow and steady progress. And then if you're somebody like me, where I stink at time management, truthfully, using free, I shouldn't even say free, but using programs, Trello, Asana, ClickUp, Monday, Airtable, the list goes on and on, where you can focus on those priorities and assign responsibilities to other people. And last but not least, actually, I'll give you two more on this because I did write two more. Emotional intelligence, number 5. This one is really challenging, and most people don't fully grasp this over their entire career. But it helps build trust, it helps handle conflict. Being emotionally intelligent is something that takes a lot of practice. And some tips to develop this is self-awareness exercises. Keep a journal, reflect. I used to use this thing called the 5-minute journal. I'll actually leave it down in the links below, but it was just some quick little things of what you enjoyed about the day to start your day and to finish up your day. And I loved it. I did it for an extremely long period of time. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's something I want to revisit over time. And then empathy training. As crazy as that may sound to some of you, being empathetic, while I struggle with it, it is something to be important. It's important, and you should work on it on a fairly regular basis. But those things are going to help you resolve more conflicts, get some good feedback for you, and hey, it's going to help propel your business forward because it is a true leadership skill. And last but not least, while there could be a nearly endless list, my golden nuggets are all the way at the end, and I hope at this point I've earned a like, hopefully a subscribe button, and a notification bell. But my most important one is you have to be able to adapt. If you cannot adapt to the changing environment, the changing threats, the changing industry constantly, this is going to be a extremely challenging industry for you. And not even just being able to adapt to those. You have to be able to adapt to let your employees take over responsibilities that you don't feel comfortable giving up. It's a huge responsibility. You have to make sure that you could be flexible in different scenarios to survive through different economic changes, through different times in the business. There's going to be times where you're making a ton of money, and there's going to be times where you're not making a ton of money. And there's going to be times where you have to double down and say, I'm going to dump all the money back in the business. And there's times where you're like, hey, we're good where we're at, and we shouldn't spend more money. But you have to be willing to adapt and overcome. Now, there are tons of different things that you could use, from experimenting with tools, scenario-based training, but truly, in my opinion, some of the best things that you can do for this is getting involved with peer groups and networking groups. Some of those groups could be something like our program, MSP Heroes, full of over 100, just under 150 members. Crazy I even get to say that. You could join the free Discord, growth-generators.com/Discord, or you can join another program such as the Tech Tribe, where you can learn from other people's experiences as well. But whatever you decide to do, it's important to get involved and speak to other people because they might have experience that you don't have yet. And instead of making those mistakes over and over and over again, maybe it's not the worst idea to go pick other people's brains. In MSP Heroes, we meet 5 days a week. I meet directly with you and or the rest of the group, whoever decides to show up, and you can ask me questions to get answers directly from myself and other people in the group as well. So figure out what truly works the best for you. I will leave a link down to MSP Heroes. I will leave a link down to Toastmasters, and I'll leave some other super helpful links as well throughout this video. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. Love you guys as always. I hope I've earned that like button now, that subscribe button, that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.